My friends, the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus took Peter, James, and his brother John and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And there he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, conversing with him. And then Peter said to Jesus in reply, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud cast a shadow over them. And then from the cloud came a voice that said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell prostrate and were very much afraid. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise, and do not be afraid. And when the disciples raised their eyes, they saw no one else but Jesus alone. As they were coming down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, Do not tell the vision to anyone until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. The Gospel of the Lord. So only I could get a cold in August. So bear with me here. I have to tell you, I don't know if I'm brave enough to be Catholic. I don't know if I'm brave enough to be Christian. If we take the word transfiguration and take it back to its Greek roots and look closer at its origin, we will find that a better translation of the word is transformation, closer to the Greek. I don't know if I'm brave enough to go up the mountain with Jesus and to be transformed. Why? Because you have to come back down the mountain and live as that transformed person. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that. Better yet, are we brave enough to do that? Are we brave enough to live as Catholic Christians in a world where the status quo is so much against us and what our church teaches and what we believe? Are we brave enough to be Christian? Are we brave enough to open our arms, to be so vulnerable in front of the Lord and say, Lord, I have no idea where I am going. I have no idea what you want from me. I have no idea if I can be the transformed person you call me to be. I don't know if I'm brave enough. Because the comforting words of Christ will come, just like they did in the gospel. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. And won't it be a glorious moment when we, as adopted sons and daughters of God, hear the voice from the clouds say, This is my beloved daughter. This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Can we live up to that? Are we brave enough to live up to that? Are we brave enough to be a parish community that does not live in the past? I got news for you. It's gone. The past is not coming back. Why live there? Why dwell in it? But we're good at it, myself included. The past is not coming back. Stop looking in the rearview mirror and look out the windshield. Because I don't know about your car, but in my car, the windshield is much bigger than that little rearview mirror. Stop living in the past. Are we brave enough? Are we brave enough to forge ahead into the future? Are we brave enough to live up to the identity of Catholic Christians? Are we brave enough to share a meal with our family in public, in a restaurant, and join hands in prayer before we eat? Are we brave enough? Are we brave enough to run into the darkness and be the light? Are we brave enough to be transfigured into a beam of dazzling white with our Lord, who is always at our side, who is not only present in the Eucharist, but in each one of us? Are we brave enough to understand the fact that we leave this church a completely different person, a transformed person, after an encounter with Christ, the living God, in the Eucharist and in one another? That's what our faith's about. And I'm willing to bet, if we really thought about it, if we really took the words of Jesus to heart, be not afraid. If we took the words of God, that we are His beloved children and He is pleased with us, we will find that we are brave enough. We are brave enough to forge into the darkness, to bring the light, to bring Christ, who is the light. So I leave you with that this week. A question, a prayer. Are we brave enough to live up to the title of Catholic Christian?